In The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren killed his father under the belief that said act would free him from all of the conflict and pain he had been carrying for most of his life, and particularly after his turn to the dark side. But almost immediately following that act, we see that Kylo's decision to kill Han Solo actually had the opposite effect, and the additional conflict that came from that moment became one of the overriding themes of the sequel trilogy, as he is continuously haunted by the mistake he made on that day. Ultimately, Kylo Ren's decision to kill his father was due to his belief that it was too late for him to return, that the galaxy would never accept him, and that he was already too consumed by the darkness within. All thoughts that have been engraved into his mind by Snoke. But even with the seemingly insurmountable hurdles in front of him, Kylo still seems very tempted by Han's offer to help him return. However, there are some people who will argue that Kylo was simply drawing that moment out as a means to toy with his father in some dark and sick thought process, and that he was always going to kill him. So what I'm going to do here is read to you guys a direct quote from JJ Abrams when he was asked about this topic after The Force Awakens was released back in 2015, and then evaluate what was really going on in this scene. So this is exactly what JJ Abrams had to say. People have asked me if I think that Kylo Ren was just playing with him the whole time, if he meant to kill him from the beginning. And the truth is, I think Kylo Ren in this moment is actually being convinced to walk away from this. Snoke is, as Han says, using him, and I think that somewhere Ben knows this, but I think that he can't accept it. Deep down, he has gone too far. But I don't think that in this moment this is a put-on. I think that Ben is legitimately going to give up. But then the idea was that in this moment where he's taking the lightsaber and offering it to him as a gesture, the sun finally is drained from the sky, and you see the light go away, and now they're in this darkness, and darkness takes over. And as if this moment isn't disturbing enough, he pushes the saber further in and says these terrifying two words: "Thank you." In Kylo's mind, what he has just done seals the deal. It's the ultimate proof to Snoke that he is to be trusted, that he will not be seduced by the light. And I think the instant he's done that, he regrets it. End quote. And so there you have it. It's made pretty clear here that JJ's intention with this scene was to make it clear that Ben Solo was still very much alive and really could have come back, but that, as I said earlier, he believes that it is too late. JJ also stated that he wanted this scene to be filled with a lot of raw emotion and uncertainty. Again, clear indications that Kylo Ren really is conflicted here, and I think Adam Driver did a very nice job of acting those feelings out on screen. And in the following two films, Rey, who has direct access to Ben's mind, relentlessly pursues the regrets he carries from that day, because she realizes that this is his greatest weakness. That Kylo Ren's most evil act is what will eventually bring him back to the light. And The Rise of Skywalker confirms that that decision has indeed been haunting Ben, as he is confronted by his father through a vision in which they replay that scene nearly to a T, only this time Ben does what he wishes he had done the first time. Adam Driver actually described this scene as something that had been replaying again and again in his head for a long time. And so in this very beautiful and poetic way, Ben Solo's journey toward redemption is brought full circle as he finally makes this revelation that it's not too late. That it was never too late. Not only because Rey will be there with him, but because this decision was always up to him. Palpatine's deception had gotten the best of him for years, but now he finally sees the pathway back to the light. And although this vision is all in his head, it feels very real to him, and it finally grants him the acceptance he needed from his parents. I always thought that the legitimacy of Ben's conflict was pretty clear in that scene, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did too, especially considering the conversation he had with Vader's mask earlier in the film. But I do still think it's a really interesting topic to expand upon and pick apart. Ben Solo was my favorite character of the sequel trilogy because I think his story was, for the most part, handled quite well, as he transitioned almost seamlessly from one film to the next, despite Disney choosing to alternate directors between films. And so diving into this character's motives is fun to me because of that continuity and full circle story arc that characters in many films are often lacking. So I hope you guys found some insight from this video. If you enjoyed today's content, please remember to leave a like to support the channel, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you always.